John Lockett IFBB Pro here. About to get meal 4 ready. I just said John Lockett IFBB Pro. That's probably the first time I said that on this channel. That junk sound clean too. Real nice attachment to it. But about to get meal 4 ready before I hit the gym in about an hour and a half. Let's get this one going. This one's gonna be a fun one. Wham! Cereal. Okay. Protein. Shaker bottle. Oh. Water. As I prepare this real quick, let me talk to y'all about how my rebound has been going. Like I said, I'm like 15 pounds up right now, but this probably has been like my best rebound so far. I feel like. Usually I would have been like, it's like almost 2 weeks post show. Usually I would have been like 200 pounds right now. I'm only like 185. Feeling really good in the gym. Strength coming back real nice. And I'm still relatively pretty lean. You know what I'm saying? Still pretty lean. Still got abs, you know what I'm saying? Striations in my legs. So we good. Good spot to add on some size and get ready for the next season or the next year. I like how I'm feeling mentally right now. Falling back in love with my training and the nutrition. As far as nutrition, basically I just been tracking calories and macros, kind of switching the foods up every day. I feel like that's what's gonna like relieve some stress from me right now and just keep everything fun. Not really like strict meals every day, just making sure I'm hitting certain numbers and tracking everything as best as I can, you know? Having a couple cheat meals, but nothing crazy. I'll try to get y'all a physique update later. But that's how I'm feeling. Pull that all over that. Get after it, by the way, if you haven't. Yeah. Finished product. We got 1 scoop of this Michael Hearn whey isolate that I just had laying around the crib. You know, I gotta be using Michael Hearn because he's King Natty anyway, so it just worked out perfect. Vanilla, and then birthday cake pebbles, this time from Dymatize. Just gave that a shot. Go see how it run. And the French Toast Crunch. Check the box on that. Whoa! Ain't hitting. That's the macros on it. Not too bad, honestly. And if you're gonna eat cereal, best to have one that's low in fat. So this is gonna be my meal 4. I'll get back to y'all in a bit. Welcome back to the channel, guys. John Lockett, IFBB Pro. Hope you're having a blessed day whenever you're watching this, and thanks for tuning in. So, back from the chest workout, I'll send a little update picture here. Like I said, I'm about 15 pounds up from my stage weight. Still not fat though. Don't ever disrespect me. Don't ever think I'm gonna get out of hand with it. You feel me saying? Just having a little bit more fun with my food right now, but definitely not getting out of hand. Nothing out of hand. But this video is going to be a little bit more serious and kind of going to open up a little bit more about, I guess, my journey, my fitness journey, my bodybuilding journey, because it's definitely been a long road, and it's definitely a testimony for me that I feel that I need to share, and God has laid on my heart to share. So I'm going to take it all the way back from, we can go back pretty far, but I'm going to go back to high school. As far as high school, I was always, especially like coming in as a freshman, scrawny little kid. I still got pictures like freshman year where I thought I was just the coldest person, but still scrawny. Loved to train. I knew I was a hard worker, but I really wasn't into the gym. I was just into sports. 11th grade is where I kind of started falling in love with the working out and the training. I was one of the hardest workers probably in my gym, even though I was still small. But I was one of the smaller, stronger guys, and I could lift with some of the bigger guys, even in high school. I think that was just a blessing as far as like genetics wise, but I still was busting my rump in high school. I vividly remember like coach never having to really get on to me or anything like that. And they always made sure that people like led use me as an example to for people to like keep going harder and stuff like that. So 11th, 12th grade year, I really started like I probably put on like 10 pounds of muscle or like 5, 10 pounds, and people were like, "Oh, snap, he's huge." Still small as heck. I probably like 160 pounds, but like that's decent for a little high schooler, right? So after high school, went into the military, and then started training for like military. And I remember even then, like I went back home before I joined the military. I used to get up and run like 3, 4 miles just at like 5 in the morning, and nobody knew about it. Even my parents, they would still be asleep. I would just get in my car and go run on the track. So, and I probably was like 19 at that point in time, but still nothing about bodybuilding. I just still loved to be fit, love to be in shape, love to feel good. Fitness has always been a stress reliever for me, a place I can go to in my mind to like just find peace. Because you're constantly comparing yourself to your old self. That's how it is for me. So having that structure and that battle keeps me going in all aspects of life, honestly. Nothing about bodybuilding at this point in time. Just working out to be fit, working out to be in shape. And that was like 2019. So fast forward to 2020. That is when I got introduced to bodybuilding or bodybuilding type of workouts around August of 2020. Even though we were in the midst of COVID, I guess our gyms didn't really shut down, so I still got the chance to work out. My friend who was in the military with me was like a super huge bodybuilding fan at this point in time, and he saw like the progress that I was making. He was like, "Bro, you should try bodybuilding." Shout out to you for it. Never did anything bodybuilding related if it wasn't for you, my guy. So shout out to my boy Miles Ford. And y'all check out his channel, Miles No Quits. He the GOAT. If it wasn't for him, I know I wouldn't have did anything bodybuilding related, because he was like, "Bro, you know who Chris Bumstead is and all these guys, bro, you could be doing that. Like, that could be you." I'm like, "Bro, I don't even know what you talking about. I'm just trying to work out." Really, I was trying to work out to possibly try to play football again in college, but really just working out just because I liked it. More people kept telling me like, "Bro, you should try to compete. I think you could do it. I don't really see no reason why you shouldn't be doing it," right? And then I met a guy who was a bodybuilder, and he told me to do it. I'm like, "Dang, bro, I don't even know. You way bigger than me, man." So I'm like still unconfident about it. I just don't know, right? I started feeling myself a little bit. I'm like, maybe I should try it. And then at that point, it was a show coming up for the OCB about 5 weeks later, 5, 6 weeks later. So I remember sitting down that night, and I was like, what are the pros and cons of me entering into this competition? I remember I probably still got the list in my phone. One pro was like just to help me build my confidence, take a risk. I like taking risks. I like trying new things. But the cons were like, the cons didn't outweigh the pros in any way. So I was like, I guess I got to do this. This is like 5 weeks out from the show, right? So I went on a little mini cut as far as I could do, you know what I'm saying, best I could try, and entered into the show. But tragedy struck before the show, like a week out before the show, and my home burned down. I posted pictures about that. Yeah, my home burned down, my childhood home, and I had to go back home, rush back home from my apartment, and I was like, man, devastated. All my stuff that I left back home was burned. My family going through all this type of stress. We're having to find a new place to stay and all this stuff. I'm just like in a rut. So I'm finna pull out of the show. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for me to be traveling and doing all this stuff when my family is not in a good spot right now. I talked to my friend. He like, "Bro, you done went through this prep. it was a prep, I guess. But like, you did all this work to get into this show, and why you want to pull out now? So that was a good conversation. I called him at like 3 a.m. that night, and just motivated me to keep going. And I'm like, I'm gonna pull through. So we did it. Won my debut class in first place for that show, and then went on to take second place. I still kind of feel a burn about that. Take second place in the novice class, but I was happy. Me and my friends, we celebrated, ate pizza and everything, and I kind of fell in love with the sport at that point. I was like, this is pretty cool, you know. I didn't feel nervous about it. I didn't feel weak. I felt empowered. Fast forward about 6 months later, I did another show in Alabama for OCB, and that's where I took an overall first place, and my class first place, obviously, if you won overall. So I was happy about that. I'm like, oh snap, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. But like, the competition still wasn't pretty like wild in the Natural Federation, so I felt happy about it. But I'm like, I feel like I'm supposed to be beating these guys, right? My goal became at that point to turn pro in OCB and become a natural pro. So I figured out what show was a pro qualifier, and it would be in Tampa, and that was in, I think, November of 2022. Did that show, won overall. It was a lot more competition in that show, and I will say a lot of those guys looked good, and like, it felt great to win that show. Still no coach, still prepping myself, still going through all of that myself and just kind of winging it. I was gaining more experiences as I did each and every prep, right? Fast forward to 2023, at this point, I realized like, okay, I know that I need to be doing this. I'm pretty confident in my ability to do this. I love being on that stage. I love bodybuilding. But now it's time for me to make some serious improvements and try to win the Jordan Cup. That was my goal at the beginning of 2023, is to win the Jordan Cup, which is like the world championship for the OCB, because I did turn pro. So, and those are like some of the top natural bodybuilders in the world, they say. But OCB is on like some different rules and not really the best guys, I don't think. Nah. So anyway, that's when I guess I was working so hard. I worked all year, built up all the improvements that I needed to make, and I was going to compete in that competition. And that's where I guess my channel picks up from this year, is being disqualified. And I couldn't even compete in the show that I was prepping all year for. It was supposed to be on September 9th. So after I realized I was disqualified and I couldn't compete in that one, I'm like, I don't really want to compete in the OCB anymore anyway. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the NPC shows. It's more talent, more competition, and I think it'd just be a lot more fun, a lot more exposure as well. So I switched over to the NPC. I'm like, I think I can take on these guys, even though many of them aren't natural or whatever. Went to Texas, did that show, Heart of Texas, and won. So I'm like, oh snap, I really am supposed to be bodybuilding. That was the confirmation that I needed right there. Where like, okay, bodybuilding is what I'm supposed to be doing. I was really happy about that win, because a lot of those guys wasn't natural or whatever the case may be, and I still was able to take the victory. At that point, I started with my coach, and I was like just trusting the process, you know. But I think it's really crazy how God worked it to where I was disqualified from the natural federations in the smaller competition to go to the bigger competition and still win. So that's like just a blessing on my life, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's God's favor on me, honestly. And I'm just super grateful for that. We stayed in prep, kept going, decided the first goal was that we decided was going to use the Texas qualification to go to nationals in December. But I saw that Ben Weider had the natural show. I'm like, I really want to compete against natural guys as much as I can, since I'm still natural, And I think my goal is to be the best natural bodybuilder in the world right now. That's my goal. So if I could turn pro being natural, I think that would be amazing. And also, I didn't want to stay in prep for too much longer because my body was really starting to like break down toward the end. Starting to see like digestive issues and all type of stuff going on with my body. So I didn't want to stay in prep for another 4 to 6 weeks when I was already in prep for like 20 weeks. But did the Ben Weider show and just blessed, man, that I could win that pro card, man. All the work that I put in over all these years, even back in like 2019, 2021, it's crazy how all of that work built up to the point that I am now. This is not nowhere near a one night thing. This is years of me busting my rump in that gym and just loving each and every rep, loving each and every session of cardio. And that's why I turned pro. The secret to me turning pro finally was God, honestly, because I know at the end of that, like the end of this prep, God just picked me up and carried me to the finish line. That's the main thing that kept me going, kept me motivated. God just speaking with me each and every day, me being in prayer, me being in meditation every day, having long walks with God and long talks with God. I felt like a wounded soldier, and like I just threw my arm over the Lord and like carried me to the finish line. So I really am blessed, and I hope this story motivates somebody. I hope this helps somebody to get back into the Word, find your relationship with Christ, and keep walking in faith, because it's one story that God delivered to me over the prep was the story that he had the disciples in the ship and it was a storm, and the Lord was asleep on the boat. And as all the disciples were struggling and nervous and going through such a rough time, the Lord, they woke him up and they were like, it's crazy right now. Aren't you nervous? Aren't you scared? The Lord literally said to them, first off, he told the winds and the storm and the waters, calm, be still. Calm the storm instantly. But he said to the disciples, don't you have faith? Because he's not going to let you fail. He's not going to let you be hurt. So if you trust the process and you trust your faith and trust in God, everything will work out. And I'm glad I can share that message with y'all. I'm going to drop as much videos and clips of this whole journey as I can in this video. And I appreciate y'all for watching. I really do love and appreciate every one of y'all. Find Christ and walk in faith. This has been another one. I'll catch y'all in the next one. If you need me, reach out to me on social media. Reach out to me in the comment section. I feel like it's a lot that the devil is trying to do right now, but it's also a lot that God is working right now in the world. And if you feel pulled in any way toward the Lord, I think now is the time that you need to be trying to find the Lord. So anyways, it's been another one. Thank y'all for watching. I'll be back for the next one. Be blessed. Peace.